Hello students, in today's lecture we are going to continue with the unit number 4 of Python and the chapter number 13, that is multi-threaded programming and the modules. Basically this is one of the new concept which is included in the advanced programming languages. Like in C++ we were not having this particular topic, that is multi-threading, but in the new languages which are developed after C++ like Java or C#.NET, they are having this concept of multi-threaded programming. So similarly Python is, but obvious it is a new language which is developed now, so it also contains the concept of multi-threaded programming. Basically multi-threading means we can say that whenever we run a particular program, then that particular program is divided into so many processes, and again that processes are again subdivided into the threads. So in the name multi-threading, the thread word which we are having, so thread is nothing but it is a part of process. So when we try to execute the program, at that time in practically we are not executing the program, but actually we are executing the processes, and along with the processes there are sometimes this is the situation that one process can have multiple threads. So all the threads are executed simultaneously. It is never possible that at a time two threads are in execution. At a time only one thread will get executed, so other has to wait. But after the execution of first thread, the second thread will execute it. So the execution of thread occurs simultaneously, and once all the threads of a particular process are completed, then the new process will get time for its execution. So like that actually the things are performed. So basically why we are having the concept of multi-threading is that with the help of multi-threading we can say that the execution speed of the particular program, that is we will get the result as soon as possible because of this concept. And sometimes what happened that we are having suppose three processes which contain so many thread, and there are some priorities also which are assigned to the process. So if we are having priority first for the process number 3, then that will get executed first. So whatever threads which are part of that process 3 will get executed first. So like that also we can have the priorities, we can set the priorities for the set for the thread, so that whenever we want that particular program which is very important or which is urgent to execute, so that particular program we can execute. Because normally if we are not having the concept of thread, then what happened, in the sequence we call the method, in that sequence only the exam, or we can say that the program will execute. And suppose in between if we realize that no, I don't want to execute this particular process or program or function, I want to execute this function, then we cannot jump to that function. So for that purpose threading is very very important, because in threading we are having the priority concept, so we can give the priority to the specific function. So I am just reading the some of the definition which we are given in the current slide. First definition is multi-threading. So multi-threading is a technique by which a single set of code can be used by several processors at different stages of execution. Okay, and most of all the high level programming languages supports this concept. And because of multi-threading means it is nothing but the ability to execute multiple threads in a parallel manner. Okay, just to improve the performance of any program. Okay, then in multi-threading we are having the word thread. So thread is called as the smallest unit of execution with the independent set of instructions. It is a part of the process and operate in the same context, sharing programs runnable resources like memory. Means actually thread is a part of process, and process is a part of a program. So when we execute the program, whatever memory or whatever resources which are allocated to that particular programs, that can be shared by the thread also. So they want to say from this line. So thread has a starting point, that is we have some function to start the thread, then we have some function to stop the thread, but the basic concept is that it just improves the performance of the execution of a program. For that we are having this concept. In any programming language we are having only this use of thread. So again I have given some points from the internet, I have added this. so that if you are having write a note on thread or write a note on multi-threading or write a note on threading or advantages of threading, so you will be able to answer all such type of questions. So for the same I have added this slide. Again the same thing are there, that thread is a separate flow of execution. This means that your program will have two happening at once. But for most Python 3 implementation, the different threads do not actually execute at the same time. Basically, it's in practically it is not possible to execute two threads at a time. At a time, only one thread will get executed. It's not depending upon the size or the capacity of the system. It's a rule that one at a time at least that is one thread will execute. And as I told you that program, we are running the program, so that particular program is converted to the process. So it is compulsory for the system or for us to have at least one process or at least one thread inside the process. So it should be compulsory that each process has at least one thread. Okay, then we are having starting and after execution of the first thread, we can have the execution of the remaining thread also in simultaneous manner or in parallel manner. By using the concept of thread scheduling or time slicing, we can implement this concept. Then what are the advantages of threading? That is, multi-threaded programs can run faster on the computer system with multiple CPUs. A program can remain responsive to the input. Threads of a process can share the memory of the global variable. If global variable is changed in one thread, then that particular change is valid for all other threads. So because of execution of one thread, if some changes occur, then that particular changes will be reflected automatically when we start executing the remaining threads. Okay, so thread is nothing but a kind of functions only which we create, which is having some content like local variable, global variable. We are using the function, so we can pass the values or we can have the parameterized thread also. So that part they want to tell. So now the next part, that is, if we want to create a thread, so that particular topic is there, that is thread module is there, and one more module is there, that is threading module. So now in the current topic I have told you about the thread module. So thread has an starting, an execution sequence, and ending. So we can say that there are total 3 parts of a thread module. That is, we are having starting, so that to start the thread we are having specific method. Then there is a execution sequence, means the code which we have written in that, if we have used loops and all, so execution sequence, that is we will jump from one instruction to other, like that some of the jumping will be there, that is nothing but the execution sequence. And again we should end the thread also. For that also we are having certain methods that we are going to learn later. So it has an instruction pointer that keep tracks of where within its concept it is currently running. So it can be preempted, that is interpreted, or it can be temporarily be put on the hold mode or sleep. So these are the functions which we can perform with the thread. Means if the thread is executing, then by pressing any key, if you want to stop the execution of thread, so that is possible. That is, we can interrupt the thread. So this is a point of first bullet point. And second is, if we want the execution in slower manner, so we can make use of hold concept. So for to hold the thread, we are having some methods also, like sleep method is there to hold the thread. So that is again possible. So basically Python 3 provides 2 modules that support the usage of threading. Means whenever we want to practically implement the threading concept, then for that purpose we are having 2 modules. First module is thread module, underscore thread is there. It's not double underscore. Double underscore in Python means we are declaring a specific variable or method as a private. But now whenever we want to use the thread module, we are having single underscore. So this is one way, that is one module with the help of which we can create a thread, but it takes some more time for the execution, and we need to write so many codings for the same. And the second module with the help of which we can implement the concept of threading, that is threading module. Okay, from the example it will be clear to you. So first module for the implementation of threading is thread. Remember this particular topic in Python, because in next semester you are going to have Java. In Java also we are having multi-threading concept. So all the things now which you are learning that is we are having thread module, threading module. Same things are there in Java too. So now we are creating a thread with the help of thread module. So we will create normal functions. And one more important thing, that is whenever you want to create or whenever you want to implement the concept of threading, then we have to import some module. So now in this case, which module we will import? That is import thread. Thread is the module which we need to import whenever we are writing a program for multi-threading. So the first way of creating the thread, that is using thread module. So there is a sentence or a line which is given in bold, that is underscore thread dot start underscore new thread into round bracket function comma args, and within a args comma kwargs. So this is the basic syntax with the help of which we can call the thread or we can start the execution of thread. So here you just need to remember this sentence, that is this thing you should remember, that is underscore thread dot start underscore new underscore thread. This much content is same, and inside the parameter of this particular new thread function, we just need to provide the function name which we have created before calling this particular sentence, and then we are having some arguments. So args is nothing but arguments, is a tuple of arguments, means arguments should be present in the tuple format. And kwargs is optional dictionary of keyword arguments. So kwargs stands for keywords argument. So these two parameters are there. Everything will be clear to you in the exam. So now we are going to see the example. Just see the example. Create a thread using thread module. So first sentence, that is using thread module, we want to create thread. So first we have to import underscore thread module. After that, one function which we have created, ct is the name of the function, and inside the function we have passed the parameter tid. And if you notice one thing, there is no self parameter. It means what? The ct method which we have created, that is nothing but the static method. Last lecture only we have learned the concept of static method and non-static method. So this is static method because we have not make use of self keyword as a first parameter. Directly we have passed the tid as a variable. So this is the reason why it is a static method. And in the method we have simply printed one message, hello thread, and the value of tid we are printing. Again we have created one more method, that is pt, okay, which is parameterless method, and in that we have taken one variable s equal to 0. Then we are having while loop. While true, if the while condition is true, means the break is not occur. Till the time, what we want to do, we just need to execute, or we just need to increment the value of s variable by writing s equal to s plus 1. In this, what we are doing, we are just incrementing the value of s variable. And then the important line, that is we are learning the concept of threading. So we have just initiated the thread. After incrementing the value of s, we have initiated the thread. So by writing underscore thread dot start underscore new underscore thread into round bracket, we will provide the method. So other than pt, one method, that is ct method, which we have created. So that method we will pass as a parameter to the thread. Means when we call the thread, this particular method will get executed. Comma into round bracket, we just need to provide the arguments. One sentence which we have written in the last slide, that is args is nothing but the set of tuples. So this is the reason why after passing the function, we have put at the comma and the things which we have passed, that is within a round brackets. So whenever we are passing something within a round bracket, it means that is the tuple. So as a tuple, we have passed the value of s variable, and this s value, actually value of s variable will be passed as an argument to the ct function. So whatever value we are having for s variable, the same value will be assigned to tid, and actually in place of tid, the s value will get displayed. And then there is actually it is a list of tuple, so we need to provide the comma. Otherwise it is not considered as a tuple if we are having only single elements inside the round bracket. So this is the way in which we have called the thread method. After that, I have written something like if input method I have called equal to q. Means if you enter or if you press the q character from the keyboard, what code I have written? The break will occur. Means the thread execution will get stopped once you press the Q character. Till the time you are not pressing the Q character, automatically the thread will continuously will go on increment. So this is the actually main use of threading. That is, here we have not never used the for loop. We have used the while loop. So till the time you are not pressing the Q, our loop will have value as true only. So while true colon, after that it is written infinite loop. So even this is the way of creating infinite loop. So true means the value is set, and once we have the condition, that is input equal to Q, means once you enter the Q as a character, the break will occur, means your thread's execution will get stopped. So this is one of the example of thread module, simplest example which is given in your textbook. So just see the output as we call the PT function. So while true will get executed, and because of which s equal to s plus 1, that is 0 plus 1 is 1, and we have passed the value of s variable while calling the thread. So CT function will get the value of s variable, and that will be assigned to TID. So first TID value will be 1. So the message will be printed as hello thread 1. Like that it will keep on going till the time you are not pressing the Q. Okay, once you press the Q character, it will get automatically stop. Otherwise this is the infinite loop. So you will continuously get the message as hello thread 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. It will go on. Okay, so this is threading module. Next is threading module. The first previous module which we have seen, that is thread module. There is one more way to implement the concept of multi-threading, that is using threading module, which is used for creating, controlling and managing threads in a Python. So there are threading module has thread class, okay, that implements threading related some methods. So now in the program which we have written with the help of threading module, we are going to use all such method. That is, first method is run, which actually indicates the entry point for the thread. Then we have start method, which actually starts the threading. Like in previous example, we are writing start underscore new underscore thread. So that is one of the method which starts the execution of thread, right? So similarly here in case of threading module, we are having start method to start the execution of thread. Then we have join method, means if you want to hold the thread, that is if you want to have the result after a specific number of times, then you can make use of join method. So join method will wait for the thread to terminate. So actually this method we are using for the termination, and this particular method is having time as a parameter, means whatever time you will provide, after that much milliseconds your thread will get executed. Like in previous example, whenever we are clicking Q or pressing the Q character on the keyboard, then the thread stop execution. Similarly, now whenever we are having threading module and we want to stop the execution of thread, then we can make use of join method by specifying the time, that is after how many milliseconds the thread will stop the execution. So for that we are having join method. Then is alive, if you want to check whether the thread is still executing. So if you want to check this thing, then we are having is alive method. It will return either true or false answer. Then we are having get name. If you want to get the name of the thread, so for that purpose we are having get name method. Similarly, if you want to set the name for the thread, then we are having set name method. So these are the methods which are present inside the thread class, and thread class is a part of threading module. So now we will see some examples. Threading dot active underscore count. Okay, so this is the first function with the help of which, that is active underscore count function will return the number of threads object currently arrived. All the thread object which are alive, their list or their count is displayed with the help of active underscore count function. So just see the example, import time, import threading. Now we are making use of threading module. We are not making use of thread module. So now we will import the import threading. After that we have created one function thread 1 and thread 2. So now we have created two threads. So thread 1, which is having time dot sleep into round bracket 3, means after each 3 seconds the message will get displayed as output, or the count will be incremented. So sleep method is used for that only, just to hold the thread execution. So we are having two methods, and hash print is given. So hash is nothing but the comment in Python, so we have commented that particular line. Then we are having a main method. Main method actually we have not used, but this is the way of using the main method. If double underscore name double underscore, then we are having equal to main. So within a single quotes, double underscore main double underscore, we are writing colon. So now here we have called the thread method. Now I want to actually execute the first thread, that is thread 1. So for that, what I am writing, t1 equal to threading dot thread into round bracket target equal to thread 1. So if we are writing the target equal to thread 1, means this is the particular function we want to implement as a part of thread 1. So target equal to thread 1, I hope it is clear to you. And the second parameter for the thread class is args. In args, again it is a set of tuples only. So I have written args equal to, in within a round bracket, 10 comma value we have passed. Like in previous example we have passed the s, so s value will get printed. So now we have passed the value as 10. So this particular 10 value is assigned to the I variable of thread 1 method. Okay. After that, next one is t2 equal to threading dot thread. Then we are having target equal to thread 2. So now t2 is nothing but we are calling the thread 2. So by writing this t1 t2 line, we have just created the object of the thread, okay, which we want to execute. Now if you want to start the execution, we have to make use of start method. So for the same, we can use t1 dot start t2 dot start, means we have started the execution of both the thread. After starting the thread, we have just printed the number of active threads, that is I just want to find out number of active threads. Okay, so for the same, I have written the statement as print number of active thread plus threading dot active underscore count. So this is particular function of threading model, right? So we will call this function, and this function will return the number of active object. And then we have called the join method, as I told you, that is it's one kind of termination method. By writing t1 dot join, actually we are stopping the execution of the thread. So it is compulsory to use start method as well as join method just to start and end the execution of the thread. And if you see, if you run this particular program, and if you notice that, you will get the output as number of active thread equal to 3. 3 threads you will get. That is basically we are having 2 threads only, t1 and t2, but whenever it will display the response, it is considered the main method as one of the thread. So that the explanation I have given, you will see the number of thread counted to be 3, because we have created 2 threads and there is main thread, the statement which we have written, if underscore name underscore, right? So that is nothing but one of the thread, which inbuilt thread which we have initialized. So this is the reason why we got the answer as 3, not the 2, because as a user we have created only 3 threads, but still we are getting the count as as a user we have created only 2 threads, but as a count we are getting 3, because the main is nothing but one of the thread, so that is added. So this is one of the function active underscore count. Again same program we are going to use, but for the different function. Just see the program, threading dot current underscore thread. So now we are using the current underscore thread. Previously active underscore count method we have used. Now we are using the method of threading module as current underscore thread. This particular method will return the current thread object corresponding to the caller's thread of the control, means current object, current which thread is executing. So again we have written the same program that we learned in previous slide. Only if you notice that after starting the execution of the thread, that is in main thread, the printing statement is changed, that is current thread is plus threading dot current underscore thread. This method we have used, current underscore thread, which will give you the current thread. So current thread means we are currently executing the main thread, and this is the reason why you will get the answer as current thread is, and the current thread is main thread. So this output you will get. So current underscore thread is, with the help of this method we can display the thread which is currently executing. Like that we are having so many methods, but in your syllabus only 3 methods are given, that is active underscore count, current underscore thread, and this is one method, that is threading dot enumerate. Basically this method returns a list of all the thread object currently alive. That is, with the help of count, active underscore count, it displays the number of threads. But if you want to see the name of that currently active or currently alive thread, then you can make use of this particular method, that is enumerate. Enumerate is nothing but the list. So this particular function will display the list of all the thread object which are currently running. So again you just need to use the previous program only, but in the print statement you just make use of threading.enumerate method, so that you will get the list of the currently alive thread. So this much is there in today's lecture. And I have added one video related to execution, that is the program which we have added in a previous 2 slides. So I have just shown the execution of that program, that what output you will get for actually original program, in which we have not used any active count method or current thread method. The basic program with the help of which I have created the thread using the threading module. So in this program we have created total 2 threads, that is T1 and T2, with the help of threading module. For the thread T1 we have given some value like 10, and for T2 we have assigned some value like 12. So now with the help of start method we will start the execution of the thread. That is, this method will run the, or we can say that call the thread method, and there is one more method, join method, because of which this method waits for thread to terminate. So this particular method, join method, we are using just to wait that when the thread will terminate. So this is the basic program, okay, of the threading module. Now I am just going to run this program so that you will be able to see the output. So just see the output. Number printed by thread 2 is 12, because 12 is the argument which we have passed to the thread 2, and 10 will be printed as a number of printed value for the thread 1, because in thread 1 we have passed 10 as argument. So this is simple creation of thread using threading module.